Hello everybody, and today we're going to be talking about the worst Christmas movies ever. Now, normally on this channel we talk about all things positive in the fandom, but I thought we'd do something a little bit different. Instead of talking about what we like, let's talk in this video about some of the worst Christmas movies. Now, I will not be insulting the movies too much because all film is subjective. However, the reason for this video is actually because of the hate that a certain new show on HBO Max has gotten, Santa Inc. So, let's take a look at some of the worst of the worst. So in our number 5 spot, we have a little short movie called Xmas. Yeah. And Xmas was made in 2017. It looks like it had a shoestring budget, as a lot of these films that I'm going to talk about do. However, with this one, it tried for the whole Killer Santa. And the Killer Santa gig only really worked with Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now, you can make the argument that it also worked with that Bill Goldberg movie. Yeah, but that's a different entity in that that's not really Santa being a human slasher, but rather Santa being an actual entity. And this movie kind of tries for the Santa is a slasher. You know, just a normal everyday guy, dressed up like Santa, go around killing people. And it could have been so much better, but I feel that the movie's shoestring budget probably hurt it a lot. At number 4, no surprise, we have Xmas 2. And that was made in 2018. It's a follow-up to the other film, and it's also a little bit longer. Both films are about a half an hour long, but the other one's like maybe 20-something minutes, and this one comes to like about 25 or so. I forget the exact numbers, however, it's still about a half an hour too long. The second movie is worse than the first, and it suffers from the same shoestring budget. And I think that's what hurts the film. But if you haven't had a chance to see these little gems, they are on Tubi. So I highly recommend you check them out. Next up, we have Santa in Animal Land at number 3. Santa in Animal Land is a 1948 movie that, well, it's a short movie, but it was 1948. It's filmed in black and white, and they use puppets. The premise of the movie is actually that there is no Santa for animals. And because there's no Santa for animals, this cat decides to be Santa Claus. Now, the puppets in this black and white little short actually look really creepy. They do. They look really creepy. You can actually find this movie on YouTube. I believe it's still on YouTube. If not, I don't know where to stream it at. But I don't know why you would want to stream it. It is a very creepy little movie. But that being said, let's jump into our number 2 spot. And our number 2 spot is the one that sparked this video. And what might that be? Santa Inc. So, Santa Inc. has one major problem. It tries really hard to resemble the old movies that like the Rudolph and the Frosty the Snowman animation style. It should be a really cute movie. The plot of the movie, well, I call it a movie. It's actually a TV show that has 8 episodes on HBO Max. You can watch it if you want. I can't in all good conscience even recommend this one. I mean, wow. Like I said, the animation is trying hard to resemble the older animation, and it does an okay job at that. The problem with the movie is the content. It's not the story. You hear a whole bunch of people like Justin is Lost, the Quartering, Nerdrotic tell you that it's the content of it that's the problem. That's not really the problem. Is the content acceptable and great? No, but not all content in any movie has to be. And if you give me a good movie or a good show, then I don't care about the underlying politics or whatever in the show. The problem here for me, and I think the problem with a lot of people watching, and one reason I think that critics, if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't have many views. It doesn't have many reviews. And I think the reason for that is that critics aren't even comfortable rating this. It is outright despicable. The language is so atrocious. There's not one sentence that they get out with a clean mouth. I mean, every sentence has a bad word in it. And that might work sometimes, but for an entire series to have that as a thing, especially one resembling your Christmas movies, that is kind of a little bit in bad taste, in my opinion. And I think that that's the reason it doesn't do very well. The premise is cute. The premise of the whole show is adorable, okay? Basically, you have Santa Inc., which is run like a corporation, and Santa Claus that's currently there isn't even the first Santa Claus. He's getting ready to retire, and he has a replacement. His replacement is stolen away by another company, and his assistant decides she wants to be Santa Claus, and she wants to be the first female Santa Claus ever. There was a movie that kind of did some of this before a little bit, and the movie's a lot better because it didn't have the language. It was a little made-for-TV movie on Hallmark Channel or something. But, but anyway, it's not that the premise is bad. The premise is cute. It's that every other word is a curse word. Every other word is dirty. I mean, the whole show is just filthy, horrible, and dirty. It's the type of thing that if you're sitting there watching with your family, you are going to be so embarrassed by it. You're going to be sitting there going, oh my, no, why? And I don't feel that your Christmas movie should ever really make you feel that way. There is Bad Santa, which has a lot of dirty jokes in it, but it doesn't go overboard. And this show, with all 8 episodes, goes overboard. They say from the creators of Sausage Party, which was also by Seth Rogen. And if you saw that movie, you know that movie was pretty dirty. Well, this one makes it look G-rated. The show Santa's Inc. makes that entire movie look G-rated. And that's saying a lot, because food in your refrigerator probably shouldn't be using bad language either. But the problem with the show is just the uncomfortableness of it. I don't like to agree with the YouTubers who hate everything, but with this particular one, I agree with them, but only for a different reason. I don't agree with the politics level that they're trying to spit out to people, saying that it's all about politics and, that, and that's why it's failing. I don't believe that. I believe it's failing because of the language and the jokes and the fact that you can't sit down and watch it with your family. Not even one line of it can come across clean. So that's why it's at number 2. But wait a minute. You're going, you put that at number 2. Then what's number 1? Well, friends, I'm glad you asked. Because number 1 is Santa Claus, 1959. AKA Santa Claus versus the devil. Yes, there was actually a movie where Santa Claus fought the devil. And to make matters worse, it was 1959. So what happened to the whole wholesome movie thing that people tend to think happened in 1959? The movie doesn't try to be very horrible in its concept. Basically, it plays more like a documentary, and it's really long and boring. It just kind of talks. It's a lot of talking in it, and you find that the footage is grainy. It doesn't feel like it's really awesome at all, because after a while you have trouble following it, because they kind of will go and talk about what they're doing in the movie. And the whole story, I believe, and this is how bad it is being told to a little kid, a bunch of little kids. And I still, to this day, have not been able to sit all the way through this movie and watch it and be able to follow the plot. And that's why it's at number 1, because if I can't sit through it and follow the plot, and people who know me know that I will sit through some of the absolute worst garbage out there in film land. And I will come to you and I will go, well, it was garbage. But this is one thing I liked about it. And with this movie, with Santa Claus versus the devil, or Santa Claus 1959, whichever you want to prefer to call it, I cannot, in all honesty, tell you one positive thing about it. The acting, the graininess of the screen, the fact that you can't really follow the story that well, and to make matters worse, it is long. And it may not even be that long, but it seems like one of the longest movies I have ever sat through. And at least, with everything else on this list, including Santa Inc., I can at least tell you something positive about them. So that was our list. So if you've made it this far, you know what to do. go ahead and hit that like button and let us know what Christmas movies you think are the absolute worst in the comments below. If I haven't seen them, I want to watch them and judge for myself. So definitely let us know. And make sure you are hitting that like button. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button because Miko thinks we need more subscribers. And look at this face. How can this face be wrong? So go ahead and hit subscribe. And while you're at it, make sure to tap that notification bell so you know when we do our next video. On this channel, we talk about all things positive in your fandom, and we talk about them in a positive way. And you know if that's something that interests you, you have, my friends, come to the right place. Welcome to our channel. We're so thrilled to have you, and we're thrilled that you sat here with us with this discussion, and hope to see you in many more. And at the end of the day, friends, two things. Be safe out there, and remember, fandom is family.